Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. What a show today. You definitely want to feature yourself into a seat and listen to what Mr. Carter Wilcoxson has to say today. He is the founder and CEO of CSI Financial Group. And let me tell you, I've had so many people reach out to me at the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series, and they say, Andy, we want you to bring a financial expert onto the show that really understands about client acquisition. So I went through my Rolodex, and of course, Carter came up top of the line. He's a worldwide expert. I call him the advisor's advisor, and you're going to see why. Carter, welcome to the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Andy, thank you so much for having me, and very kind words. I really do appreciate that.
Well, it's great to have you on the show. You know, you do so many great things for so many financial advisors throughout America at CSI Financial. We're going to get into all of it. We're going to talk about sort of the world of finance as well. But before we do, let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet and tell us about CSI.
Well, I'll give you that quick 30,000 foot overview and everything. And I've got, three key things that I'm going to share with those financial advisors that are listening. And you already touched on it. It really does all begin and end with client acquisition, right? If you're not gaining clients, you're probably not going to be able to grow. So what CSI Financial Group's whole goal and objective was to do three things better than anybody else in this industry. Number one, elevate the client's experience. And when I talk about the client, I'm talking about the independent financial advisors, clients that are out there trying to win what I call the relationship war. They're all competing against one another for that market share, if you will. So that's the very first thing that we wanted to set out on and create content around advisors that needed things to be able to elevate that client experience when they go through a certain proprietary process that we've refined and developed over the last 4 years now. Number two, create what I call professional contrast, right? How do you set yourself apart and differentiate yourself versus all that competition? So that's number two, and that's what our entire platform was designed to do. But number three, and probably more importantly, it takes a lot of work to get those clients, right? So the third thing that we really have secured for these advisors is to competitor-proof those ideal clients once they acquire them through our process. So those are really that's the 30,000 foot view and the three things that we set out to do better than anybody else.
Carter, I love it so much. It makes all the sense in the world what you and your team at CSI Financial have been able to do. So let's keep peeling the onion back a little bit. So let's say I'm a financial advisor and I love being in the financial business. I love advising my clients. I love the fact that, I'm so into the numbers and so into the, financial aspect of my business and helping my clients with their finances. But I really need a platform. I need a backbone. I need somebody to help me out. I need somebody to help me kind of get through the rough waters and somebody that can help me sort of not only attain clients, but actually secure them and then keep them. So what does that first conversation sound like from an advisor who calls you over at CSI Financial?
Well, the very first thing that they are going to find out is that there is this glue that we use, and it's a foundational educational approach using what, industry jargon, estate planning. Now, when we educate and enlighten our advisors on what estate planning really is and why they don't recognize and understand why it should be critical to be as a part of their platform, I've learned in my, almost 2 decades in this industry that a lot of times advisors don't add or have estate planning as a solution simply because they're relegated to have to create some sort of a relationship, typically with an estate planning attorney. And the problem with that is its inherent problem is that it's a one-way street. their idea is that, oh, I'm going to form this relationship and it's going to be the center of influence. And then these estate planning attorneys that I send my clients to, well, they're going to reciprocate. Problem with that is that it's a one-way street, as I just mentioned, and we've learned this time and time again. So the very first thing they're going to find out is why estate planning is the centerpiece and the foundational approach to everything that it is that we do for client acquisition and client retention.
I love it. That's so interesting where it becomes a one-way street, Carter. So if we're talking about a financial advisor and you want to make estate planning the cornerstone of their business, the cornerstone of really how they approach clients. Let's talk about how you do that, because that's a fascinating way for financial planners to set precedent and sort of position themselves differently with CSI's help to be able to offer not only estate planning, but the other services through CSI Financial.
Yeah, well, and that's actually a great segue. So what we discovered probably about a year ago is that some advisors that we are wanting to work with, we weren't able to work with them because they couldn't work with my type of company called an IMO, FMO, right? So out of necessity, we formed basically our estate planning arm called Epic Services Company. It's a Nevada-based company, and what it is, its only function is to be the estate planning arm for advisors' clients to take them through and collaboratively work with these financial advisors. Now, CSI Financial Group also does a lot of marketing for advisors that can do business with us. We have our own production studio here in our office. We like to fly advisors out here and help them to create messaging for their audience to get to know them. Because again, it's a relationship war, right? What is it that your website says about you? And again, we have all the tools and resources for advisors to piggyback off of what CSI Financial Group does to make them look like the superstar that they deserve to look like without having to, hire a bunch of staff. And they just piggyback and leverage a lot of our team that we use to become their back office. And a lot of our advisors we work with are predominantly, insurance advisors working in the life insurance or annuity arena. But those AUM advisors and registered reps that work with CSI Financial Group, it's been a great partnership. But just in case we can't work with you in that capacity because of a relationship with your broker dealer or whatever, we wanted to maintain autonomy, and we wanted to help advisors understand that, in fact, we're helping one advisor go completely independent right now, and we deliver all those types of tools to help these advisors have client acquisition opportunities without having to go out and hire a bunch of staff. So we bring basically the entire collaborative, what we call multidisciplinary team, to them to make them look much bigger than they are, basically overnight.
That's amazing, Carter. And it makes so much sense. And that's how you've been able to help so many financial advisors. Financial advisors, they're experts in what they do, but perhaps they need help in all the other areas of securing clients, all the other areas of keeping those clients, all the other areas of making themselves look like the great advisor that they are, from their website to the way they communicate to the way in which they, do seminars and get online and talk to people. And this is what you help them with. So really, you're really just the premium toolbox for financial advisors throughout the United States. And it's really remarkable. But let's talk to the entrepreneurs watching the show just for a minute who might not be financial advisors, but they might be saying to themselves right now, Carter, I need an estate plan. Carter just mentioned he's one of the, leaders in this space. He's one of the worldwide leaders in being an advisor in the financial services space. Carter, you and your team obviously are top notch, and you help so many financial advisors throughout America. What's the importance of having an estate plan for the younger entrepreneurs and the more mature entrepreneurs watching the show? Let's turn the tables a little bit and talk about estate planning and why that's so important.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, because this is the old saying, and some of you, and Andy, you may have heard this phrase before. the cobbler's kids have no shoes, right? I've seen time and time again where an advisor, whatever product he may be selling, right? And look, I have nothing against the transaction that has to occur in order to monetize a relationship, right? But the advisors we really help to understand our estate planning, digitize estate planning, all able to do it from the comfort and safety of your own home and everything, which ultimately for advisors, and the reason why I call them enlightened, when they find out about our platform, the estate planning solution opens up the door to everything that they want to do. But for the advisor, they need to know that really estate planning is family succession planning, right? They need to understand that everybody in America needs this tool that we call a revocable living trust, which is part of the entire estate plan. And all too often, what we've seen is that they not only don't have one themselves to help their own family when the unknown potentially may happen, but we have a process where we take them through so that they understand exactly what their clients are going to go through. And that was by design to create that relationship with an advisor to really help them understand, but also they need to feel secure in what their clients are going to go through. So we definitely want to encourage, we don't make it a requirement, but we strongly suggest that they go through the exact same process, and we give a huge, deep discount, again, for them to go through it for two reasons. One, we want them to know what the process is going to be, but we don't want it to be a hurdle that they have to overcome, so to speak. But we want to be able to deliver that for their clients and give them this nice discount in order to be able to accomplish our digitized estate planning solution for them.
Carter, it's so incredible the way that you and your team have thought this through, because the financial advisors, they need to not only have an estate plan themselves, but they need to understand the process. And what you're saying makes a lot of sense, because if I'm a financial planner and I have this incredible toolkit to be able to put my clients, new clients, or even existing clients into a financial plan, into an estate plan, then what happens is that builds a lot of trust. That builds a lot of endearment with the clients. And then after that estate plan is built, what it sounds like, Carter, is that then you've built that trust with the client. Then you can offer another suite of services and another suite of things to your clients now that you've established the trust through the estate plan. Is that the way sort of that it works?
Well, and it's credibility too. Here's another saying: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And what you have to ultimately do as an advisor is you have to put yourself in the shoes of the clients or prospects that you're trying to work with, right? Here's a spoiler alert for you financial advisors that are out there. Your clients or prospects, they already expect you to sell them something. That's not like, wow, I had no idea that you were going to try to help me with my financial plan and you're going to try. And more than likely, they probably already have a financial advisor. What we have learned is that this tool, as a foundational approach, again, a lot of times will drive a wedge between their current advisor or solidify a relationship that they may already have with those clients. So it does. It really leads to everything that you want to do. But I don't believe, this is my humble opinion, I don't believe that you can call yourself a trusted advisor if you don't have estate planning solutions for your clients. Because, as I said earlier, that's industry jargon, by the way. Estate planning, your clients think that estate planning means the same as estate taxes. But what it really means is family succession planning. And that will help the clients, and this is what advisors ultimately do for their clients, do what I call the 3 E's: educate them, enlighten them, and empower them, that you become the centerpiece. And now all of a sudden, and I actually forewarn my advisors that really tap into our solutions, careful what you wish for, because if you do this right, these clients are yours in perpetuity. So you might want to make sure that they're the ideal clients you want to work with.
That's great, Carter. And for the obviously the financial advisors watching the show, but entrepreneurs watching the show as well. This is a very important key that Carter really has unlocked for you on the show. So rewind what he said, because it really stems from caring about your clients. It really stems from caring about your customers. And any great entrepreneur always puts the client or the customer first. And what I'm hearing is that this estate plan is really something that everybody needs. And it obviously will lead to other opportunities for the financial advisor. But more importantly than anything, it shows that you care about your client. It shows that you care about their family. It shows that you really care about everything that's going on in that person's life. And if you don't care about your client, you're going nowhere. And like Carter said, once you set this estate plan up as a financial advisor, this is it. You've got that customer for life. And that customer is going to come back to you time and time again for all their needs, all their wants, all their desires. And they're going to come back in a way that's meaningful, not only to you as the financial advisor, but by giving them advice, it becomes meaningful to them in their life, and you're empowering their life, their family, and their succession. So it's really, really amazing, Carter, what you're able to do at CSI. Very well thought out, very, very interesting. Now, Carter, I happen to know that you also have a very interesting entrepreneurial journey. And, we have a lot of entrepreneurs watching the show, and as well, there's going to be financial advisors watching the show that are watching this and they're saying, wow, Carter and his team, they're great entrepreneurs. They put together this amazing program. They're helping so many financial advisors throughout the United States. They really unlocked the key with this platform to be able to provide this amazing toolbox to financial advisors to not only help those advisors with their business, but more importantly, help those financial advisors with their clients to establish trust and do something for those clients that makes all the sense in the world for their lives. But for the financial advisors and entrepreneurs watching the show, they might be having a difficult time. Maybe they've got a roadblock. Maybe they're hitting an obstacle in their entrepreneurial process. Maybe they're hitting a mountain that they're looking at and they're saying, wow, I don't know how to get through that. But you and I both know as entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs, it takes some gumption to get through those tough times. So maybe you could share some insight based on your entrepreneurial journey for the people watching the show that are maybe having a tough time or an obstacle that they're looking at, that they're saying to themselves, wow, this is kind of a tough one. What do I do to get through that, around it, or over that obstacle?
Yeah, that's such a great point that you bring up. And being an entrepreneur it's really probably one of the most difficult things that anybody ever comes to the realization that they are, actually. And that takes me back to, the fact that I was 14, lied about my age the very first time I got a job flipping burgers, right? And it was because I just wanted to work. And then you get into the workforce and you start working. And then you have this job and you're like, man, why are they doing it like this? And then you go to the next job and you're like, why are they doing it like this? And then what it is there's something in your mind that you think differently than people that you surround yourself with at a lot of these jobs that you work at. And as any entrepreneur will tell you and understand, that you don't want to work a job, right? You want to be the leader and you want to have things done your way. So that's why you are ultimately, in the realization, is you're an entrepreneur. But the struggles and the challenges and the hurdles that you have to overcome, the self-doubt that happens along the journey and everything. And, I'm about 7+ years into the journey myself, countless hours and waking up in the middle of the night and jumping out of bed and an idea that came to your head or really what it is it's on your shoulders, right? You've got a family. And if you also have a company that people depend and they rely on you, and that becomes very, very stressful. Not every entrepreneur is a successful entrepreneur, right? But they still have the mindset. So I would just say that a lot of the things that I have reminded myself is, why did I start? And remember, it's all going to be worth it, even though it becomes challenging all along the way. We all deal with it as entrepreneurs, those challenges. And like, man, maybe I should think about just going back to that job and that 9 to 5 and that secure paycheck and everything. It is. It's a struggle and it's a challenge, but we all deal with it. I can promise you, because it's all on our shoulders to provide the revenue necessary in order to take care of your family and do the things that you really want to do, which is that financial freedom that you're really after.
Carter, that really is important for entrepreneurs to hear, because all entrepreneurs face these potholes in the road. As a matter of fact, you and I both know that if you don't hit a pothole in the road, you're not pushing hard enough as an entrepreneur, right?
That's there's no doubt about it. That's for sure. And it's interesting. My better half, I have to give a shout out to my wife, Christina. If it wasn't for her and her encouragement, you've got to have people that encourage you too, that support you, that buy into your vision in order for you to continue going, right? But you shouldn't be pulled along. You're typically pushing and people are following behind you. But if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even be where I'm at. But she says on a regular basis, and she says this to our kids that are trying to be, successful in whatever it is that they're trying to do, you got to get out of your comfort zone, right? If you stay in your comfort zone, then that pothole you're talking about, you're never going to hit it.
That's right, Carter. Amazing. And I owe so much to my wife as well. Her name is Kristen, almost similar to your wife. You know, what you're doing as you're talking, Carter, I'm thinking about a moniker. I'm thinking about you're really providing success in a box to advisors. That's really what you're doing. You know, they call you, they engage with you, they integrate with you. You've got this platform that really is a foolproof platform if the advisors follow it. So when the advisors make the first call to CSI, when they make the first inquiry, are they typically having a major problem with what? Attracting clients, keeping clients, finding clients? Where is their pain point, and where is the success in a box that you provide solving those pain points for them?
Well, and again, you hit the nail on the head, and I said it maybe at the top of the hour. It all begins and ends with client acquisition. It just does. That's their pain point. That's their struggle. And again, it's because I have to go back to this time and time again. And this is what any advisor, if you reach out to me, we'll have a 15-minute call and we'll talk about some stuff. It's the relationship war. You're in the relationship business. And if you don't know that already, spoiler alert, you're in the relationship business. And if you don't know that, then you're probably in the wrong business. But I will tell you that it's the relationship war that we help advisors to win and to overcome in order to get their market share. And if an advisor is looking to transform their practice, his and hers, and by the way, I love working with female advisors because I think our topic of our educational estate planning solution and that foundational approach, that is such an emotional thing. And I think women really embrace that so much more than men, right, wrong, or indifferent, right? We're just sort of built differently. That's the way we are. But that is the challenge that we help them to overcome, is that client acquisition, because you also need to have a team behind you. You need to have resources. You need to have tools. You need to have techniques. You need to have an appearance, because perception is reality. What is it that your potential prospects see when they look at you? Put yourself in their shoes. We already knew what was missing and lacking in this space when it came to the independence and that autonomy that I talked about before. We want to be able to help advisors invest in their practice, but give them truly unique differentiators to help them separate and differentiate themselves against their competition. So I say this on a regular basis. You can either join us and be part of this or compete against it for those that are joining us. And I don't like your chances if you're competing against the platform we've created.
That's so powerful. You know, Carter, what you've been able to develop with your team over the past number of years is really, really remarkable. You know, I'm sitting here in the interview, doing the interview, and I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a financial advisor And after hearing this interview, if I don't reach out to Carter and talk to his team about this success in a box, what I call it, or this platform, or this remarkable opportunity to build relationships with what you offer in this toolkit, I'd have to be crazy, because you can feel the passion, Carter, when you talk. You can feel that you really want your financial advisors to succeed. And not only do you have the right toolkit to help them succeed based upon this, estate plan, this financial plan, but you've been through the wars yourself. You know what it takes to put one foot in front of the other, put one foot down on the pavement before the next one hits, to be able to go out there and build these relationships. And the most remarkable thing about the entire interview, from the mindset of a financial advisor that I'm thinking about, Carter, is the fact that you tell them, you follow what we tell you to do. You use the right tools that we provide to you as part of our platform. You follow our advice, our tried and true program of getting clients and making them happy, that you're kind of going to be stuck with that client for the rest of their life. And I love that so much. Of course, they're not stuck with them, but it's a great way to build a business. I think of it in terms of when you plant a small tree in the ground, you plant it straight up and down. You don't plant it on an angle. And if you plant that tree straight up and down, it's going to grow into a big, beautiful tree, versus starting it on an angle where it's not starting right and it's going to fall over and fall to the ground. But by using your toolkit, your financial advisors get to plant that tree sturdy in the ground, straight up and down with their client. And then that client relationship builds up into a big, beautiful tree with all kinds of branches and all kinds of great things for the client. So this is just remarkable, Carter. I wanted to thank you for slicing some time out today. I want to bring you back on the show because I know one thing that's very important to you with the team you've built at CSI is your corporate culture, and how everybody on your team has the same passion and the same commitment to make sure that your advisors that join your financial advisory get the same success that you do. You're all committed to the success of your advisors. And that's really the guiding purpose and the guiding mission of CSI. So I want to thank you so much for cutting out some time today. And we're going to invite you back on the show. But Carter, thanks so much for coming on the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much. And definitely a shout out to my team, because the secret to my success, honestly, I just surround myself with people that, know more than I do. It's just I was able to encapsulate the vision for them to want to follow me. But I really do appreciate you, Andy, having me on today. It's been, I love getting all of these things out of my head and, what I call from vapor to paper, basically, and get it out. And thank you again for, the opportunity to share.